Hi, I'm Natalie Spence of the Garden Club. Welcome back. I'm standing in front of my hydrangea today, waiting for this to bloom. But does pruning or propagating a hydrangea mystify you? Today we'll go to heritage museums and gardens to take the mystery out of hydrangea pruning and propagating.
Welcome to Heritage Museum and Gardens. We're here today to talk about pruning and propagating hydrangeas. In New England, the best time to prune hydrangeas is mid-April, before the plant actually leaves out. As you can see by this hydrangea, we're a little late, but not too late to prune. We can still do that. This is a macrophylla Nikko and a Mophead. It is important to know the type of hydrangea you're pruning because the different styles of pruning depend on you knowing whether it blooms on new wood or old wood. Plants that bloom on old wood have already set their blossoms in the fall. So if you prune in the fall, you could be cutting off all those blossoms. So what we do is in New England is to prune in the spring. And for plants that bloom on old wood, we don't prune anything other than dead wood and old blossoms because you'll be pruning off your new blossoms. It's very evident on this branch what is dead and what has new growth. So we want to cut off the dead wood, and that would be cutting right here just above the node. That's all there is to it. Now we have a branch that looks healthy and makes the plant more pleasing. This plant shows what a plant should look like when it's been pruned regularly. You can see there are spaces between the branches. It's not overcrowded, and that's important that you have air circulation for a healthy plant. We are here at the display garden for the Cape Cod Hydrangea Society, and greeting everybody as they enter are Annabelles. Annabelles are a very old-fashioned plant. You probably remember these from your childhood, and people used to refer to them as snowballs. They're an arborescen, and they bloom on new wood. So there again, they can be pruned down to 12 to 18 inches early in the spring. We have chosen not to prune. They're pretty young plants, so we've let them grow this year, and we're going to see how that works out. We have three ways of propagating hydrangeas. One is from cuttings, which we will discuss later. Second, dividing, which is that you dig up the entire plant and divide it like you would any other with a sharp spade. The third is layering, and that's what I'm talking about right here with this plant. Bring the branch right down to the ground and put a brick right on top of it. You leave it just like this for about a year. Once it has rooted itself, you can take the brick off and cut off, a year later, cut it from the main plant. Leave it for a while to make sure it's healthy and doing well. Then you can just transplant it to any place in the garden that you wish to have it. Propagating from cuttings. It's important to take a cutting from new growth, so springtime is an excellent time to take cuttings. We have to remove the leaves because we want this cutting to produce strong roots. So we remove the leaves, and right here in the center, this would be the blossom. So we want to remove that altogether. So we are left with a stem with two leaves. We're going to cut the leaves in half because we want it to produce roots and not try to support a leaf structure. We've prepared our pot. We have a very good quality potting soil. We've filled the pot 3/4 of the way full, and we've watered it. So it's a nice, moist soil. Do that ahead of time. We take a pencil, and we just push it in to give us a nice hole to put our stem. You don't have to, but I always recommend dipping the end of your cutting in root tone. It helps to produce a nice strong root. Now we stick that right in the hole. tap it to make sure it's in there, and there you have a cutting. What I like to do is to take the newspaper bag, put it over the cutting. Oh, first of all, I forgot. You want to make a label so you know what your cutting is if you have that information. Sometimes you can date it when you've done this. I like to put this bag right over it. So put it in a nice protected area in your yard and let it grow.